Most monsters are just campfire stories, but some leave physical evidence. Some leave slime trails on riverbanks. And in Murfreesboro, Illinois, one left police reports filed by officers who saw something they couldn't explain. We're looking at the Big Muddy Monster. Unlike other cryptids that are local legends, this creature was actively pursued by law enforcement in 1973. The witnesses weren't just hikers. They were veteran police officers describing a biological impossibility. But there is a piece of evidence that exists in the gray area. What you're about to hear is an alleged audio recording from that summer of terror. Whether this is a reconstruction or a genuine capture of the high-pitched screaming described by the officers, it represents a sound that should not exist. It's the sound of a town gripped by fear. A noise that defies natural logic. Listen closely. Let's enter the unknown. In the summer of 1973, the police department of Murfreesboro, Illinois, didn't file a report about a ghost. They didn't file a report about a legend. They filed a report about a suspect. A suspect that was 7 feet tall, covered in river mud, and hunted by armed officers for 2 weeks straight. This isn't a campfire story. This is a matter of public record. To understand the Big Muddy Monster, you have to look at the location. The Big Muddy River lives up to its name. It's thick, slow-moving, and surrounded by dense woodlands that even today are hard to navigate. On the night of June 25th, a young couple parked their car near the boat ramp at Riverside Park. They were looking for privacy. Instead, they found themselves at ground zero of a police investigation. Around midnight, the couple heard a sound coming from the brush. It wasn't a deer. It wasn't a raccoon. They described a wet, slapping sound, like heavy, wet footsteps approaching the vehicle. When they turned their lights on, they saw it. Standing near the front of the car was a massive figure. The witnesses described it as over 7 feet tall, with light-colored hair, matted down with river slime. But the most terrifying detail wasn't what it looked like. It was what it smelled like. They reported an overpowering stench of sewage and decaying river vegetation. This detail, the smell, would become the hallmark of the entire case. Terrified, they fled the scene and drove straight to the Murfreesboro Police Department. Now, usually, this is where the story ends. The police laugh, tell the kids to go home, and file it under quote-unquote prank. But that night, the officers on duty didn't laugh. Police Chief Toby Berger interviewed the couple. He noted that they were genuinely hysterical. They weren't seeking attention, they were seeking protection. Berger made a decision that changed cryptozoology history. He authorized a search. Within the hour, police cruisers were rolling towards Riverside Park. Flashlights were cutting through the trees. They were looking for an intruder. When officers arrived at the boat ramp, they found physical evidence that corroborated the couple's story. In the mud near where the car had been parked, they found large, unexplained impressions. But more disturbing was the residue. On the bushes surrounding the clearing, officers found a strange, slimy substance. It wasn't blood. It was described as a thick river bottom sludge that had been wiped off a large moving object. The police weren't just taking statements anymore. They were tracking a fugitive. The department brought in a canine unit. This is critical because dogs don't hallucinate. Dogs don't know about urban legends. The dog immediately picked up a scent trail at the slime-covered bushes. It tracked the scent aggressively toward the riverbank, but at the edge of the big muddy, the dog stopped. The tracks disappeared into the water. Whatever it was amphibious. The next night, the situation escalated. This wasn't an isolated incident. Reports started coming in from Westwood Hills neighborhood, adjacent to the river. A frantic call came in reporting the creature in a residential backyard. Chief Berger didn't hesitate. He deployed multiple units. We are talking about armed officers in 1973 sweeping a suburban neighborhood for a monster. Witnesses claimed the creature was cornered in a wooded ravine near the carnival grounds. Now this is the part of the file that is often overlooked. Officers were reportedly authorized to shoot if threatened. There's a verified report of a distinct guttural scream heard from the woods that night. A sound the officers on the scene could not identify as any known animal. For 2 weeks, Murfreesboro was effectively under siege. The local fairgrounds were patrolled. The riverside was locked down. A quote-unquote de facto curfew fell over the town. People didn't go out at night. Eventually, the sightings stopped as abruptly as they began. The creature, presumably, moved back down the river corridor. No body was ever recovered. The slime samples, if they were kept, have long since been lost to time or degraded beyond testing, but the paper trail remains. Skeptics will say it was a bear. They'll say it was a prank. But bears don't leave unidentified slime. And pranksters don't typically evade a multi-week police manhunt involving canine units. Chief Berger and his officers saw something. They tracked something. And for 2 weeks in 1973, the monsters weren't just in the movies. I'm Monty. Thanks for joining the investigation. Stay safe and remember, they're out there.